I believe this is going to be a good one, and the reason why is because this is. I've been in the gun game for many, many years. Um, and I remember the time when we had just came off of the assault weapons ban that the Clintons put into place. That expired in 2003 or 4. And Bushmaster and Colt were king. And especially the Bushmaster's name was just ringing like that was the gun to get, was to get a Bushmaster. And so now this is many years later, and Bushmaster has went through a few changes. They're now owned by whoever owns Remington. Can't remember the name right now, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Um, and the guys who originally created Bushmaster went on to create the brand Wyndham Weaponry. And my father has a Wyndham AR-15 chamber 7.62 by 39. Great gun. So anyway, this is the very, very popular Xm15e2s. There's a lot of people out there that have this gun because in the last 5 years, this gun, Bushmaster, was very much so affordable. It was in between the 7 and 850 range, and that makes for a lot of people to reach and grab those kind of guns. Sure, a lot of people go for the real cheap ones. Some people like the expensive, but the majority is going to be somewhere in the middle is where people strike at. You know, they don't want the bottom, but they also feel like they don't need to pay, $3,000 for one. And so because of that, the Bushmaster uh, XM15e2s was very popular. Now, they're not making these anymore. Okay. Bushmaster just went through too many changes, and um, this didn't survive. So, in a way, it's kind of cool. I have something that is not made anymore. I'm holding on to this for life anyway, regardless. And also, the name Quick, oh, what was it again? QR, Quick Response Carbine, QRC. Um, that is also the model name. So XM15E2s, and then there's also the Quick Response Carbine, which actually came with the red dot sight. It actually comes with one, and it's hard to beat. Um, I chose this over DPMS. That was same price range and whatnot, but I had done my homework. We got a 1 in 8 twist here. And although you may look at this and say, okay, that's no longer a Bushmaster, quick response carbine, that's not what this is for. This video is about the trigger. And the trigger on here has not been touched at all. Zero. Okay, so no matter what I've done to the gun, bolt carrier group, pistol, whatever, all the things that I've done, none of it has anything to do with this trigger. So we're going to test the trigger so that we know what is the trigger pull on a Bushmaster XM15E2s or quick response carbine. So and if I am responsible, there should be a round in here. Perfect. All right, so all right. It is nice and clear. I hope you guys paid attention to how I cleared that. That's how you want to clear a gun, and make it to where a negligent discharge is just impossible to happen on your watch with your stuff with you. There's certain rules you follow and you won't fail. Okay, so all right, Whammy. Here we go. The trigger pull on the Bushmaster QRC quick response carbine or the Xm15e2s. This still has the factory trigger. Everything in here is all factory except for the bolt carrier, but the trigger itself has not been touched. So it is still exactly the same as every other QRC out there, okay? No matter how, what I've done customizing it, that does not change the trigger pull. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, gotta check it again. Why are you checking so much? You already checked it, dude. Yes, but I live by certain rules and principles when it comes to dealing with firearms, and that is, once I cleared that gun, I can go straight into what I'm going to do. But if I clear the gun, stop, do something else, go run to the restroom, whatever, come back, or just sit here and talk to you guys for 30 seconds, the gun is now loaded again. I have to assume that, and therefore I have to check it again. I follow these thoroughly. I have never, ever, not even almost, had a negligent discharge, ever. So, all right, here we go. I'm 40 years old. That's saying so. All right. Here goes the test of the trigger of the Bushmaster quick response carbine or Xm15e2s. Trying to get this thing right. There we go. That is, ladies and gentlemen, a 6-pound trigger pull. 6 pounds, dead even. Now I know when I pull this up, you're not able to see it. However, I have to show it because just in good faith. Here we go. I don't know where, how, what distance the lighting might be making it look horrible and you can't see anything but light. I don't know what you guys can see, but I always feel the need to put that there so you guys can see it. So that's the first reading, 6 pounds even, 6-pound trigger pull. Want to know my take on it? I'll give it to you in just a moment. Here we go. Number 2. Oh, I feel it giving. There it goes. And that time, wow. I think something's going on with the rubber and rubbing against this because that is 0.5 pounds heavier, and that is very abnormal. So that's a 6.5-pound trigger pull. I'm thinking that's baloney. I'm thinking it's what I had it the first time. I think there was just a mess up there. So let's try this again. Come on. I feel you. There it goes. Okay, interesting. All right, so this one is a 6.4. So we had a 6-pound even basically, and then we had a 6.5, and now a 6.4. I tell you, that's very abnormal. Like I said, usually you don't get anything more than within 0.3. So now I'm gonna try it again. See if there's something else I'm doing that's causing it to be a heavier trigger, or what. Let's see. got it. 6 pounds even. Okay, 6 pounds even. So it looks like that's the true trigger pull. It's 6 pounds. I see what I did there. When I did it this way, I was able to get that straight line pull, and had it at the right tip. That was a perfect grab, and then we got the right result. And the reason why it's best to go off of those two low readings is because you got to remember when you are dealing with a trigger, you're going to pull the trigger. See, maybe I'll do it from this side. You have the ability to put your finger wherever you want to pull that trigger. I can pull it from up here. I can pull it from down here. I can do it in the middle, wherever I want. I can pull the trigger how I want. But the path of least resistance is always going to be closer to the tip with a straight pullback, straight through. That's the best you're going to get out of this factory trigger. So 6 pound trigger is what you have in the QRC, AR-15 QRC, quick response carbine, or model Xm15e2s. You have a 6 pound trigger. I repeat, you have a 6 pound trigger. My AK-47 has not even, it's less than half of the trigger on here. Okay, so yes, the answer is yes, I'm going to change this trigger eventually. I just heard someone in the comments ask me that question, and I'm answering it. Yeah, I'll be changing the trigger pretty quick here. I say within the next few months, I'll have this trigger done. But really, the trigger, it's not a bad trigger. By no means is it a good trigger, but it's, I've definitely felt worse. Let me see here. I tell you what, the trigger pull itself, 6 pounds is heavy, guys. Okay, 6 pounds is heavy. At least it is to me. 6 pounds is heavy. So it gets no love from me. Like I said, I felt worse, but the trigger is not, yeah. However, that's only for the initial trigger pull. The reset audible is I'm right here letting you know what's going on. And then the pull back is perfectly crisp and right there. The reset is where this thing shines. That's the reset. And there goes the trigger. So, reset. And there's one hesitation of creep in there after that. So it's boom. So it's release right there, and then there's going to be a little creep, and then it breaks. Creep right there, and break. So the reset's not bad, but the trigger got to be. I got to fix this. I'm trying not to say the trigger sucks. I'm trying my hardest, and actually the reset really saved it because I think I was going to just flat out let you guys know the trigger sucks, but. The reset is good enough to where it's like, okay, actually I could live with this, to be honest with you. But yeah, it runs. And the other thing is, when I buy guns not for any fantasy type reasons. I don't do it for sport. I really buy these guns with the intent that I just might have to use this gun to protect my family. And that's how I view pretty much all my guns. And I don't know. I feel like people, don't mean to get deep on you guys, but I feel like people don't take guns serious. I know that sounds weird because, most of the people in our community, the firearm community, they train, they love to shoot, they go to competition shootings and whatnot, and they have fun, go to SHOT Show, all that good stuff. But look, at the end of the day, we have these guns because if a bad guy is trying to harm us or our family, we need to be able to make sure that he stops where he's at. Make sure that we can make sure we stay alive. And maybe it's because of all the things that I've been through, that my family's been through. Um, from my grandfather being in 2 wars and being shot in each one, to my father's self-defense, shooting from a home invasion, saving my mom, saving my brother, risking his life to do that, and he did it with pride. I just see these things different, and so I know that if freaking terrorists were outside, Red Dawn happened right now, you guys, like, it's nothing for me. The way that I take this, I'm not gonna go, oh man, my trigger sucks, this is gonna be horrible. No, when it really happens, that's almost a that's nothing. It's nothing. As long as this thing, when I pull it, it goes bang, I'm putting in work. Those are all that other stuff is really just things that you have the freedoms to say this, magazine doesn't look as good as the other one, and we live in America, gun capital of the world. There's nothing wrong with that. That's all fun and fine. Look, I got a new flashlight. I mean, right? All that's fun, but when it's actually happening, when it's time to go, some of these things that we put on our guns and think it's not even gonna be relevant. And there's no way for you to really understand that except through experience, unless you're one of those type that learn from others' mistakes via verbally. If you're one of those people, good for you. Sorry I chopped your ear off and got a little deep there. My apologies, but well, the world is going crazy, and I just need to get that out. So, thank you for being my counselor for this video, and whammy out.